All right, let's talk about some new video game stuff. There was quite a bit of news that dropped today thanks to an Xbox developer direct. They actually talked about a lot of multi-platform titles. I didn't expect to want to chat about this, but there was some cool stuff. And the biggest thing I wanted to focus on is Ninja Gaiden returning. That was probably the biggest announcement to come out of this thing. Yes, the rumors were true. Ninja Gaiden is back. I think this is incredibly significant. It's Ninja Gaiden 4, believe it or not, which is something I didn't expect, honestly, with the way the last Ninja Gaiden games went down. It seems like it fizzled out, and I was kind of expecting like a reboot, a revival, something like that, but nope, it's 4. They're continuing things, and I think this is exciting because Ninja Gaiden is a legendary series. I mean, twice over it's a legendary series. It's a classic 2D legendary series, and then from the Xbox to like Xbox 360 era, PS3 era, they were quite a thing as well. So I think this is nice to see, and I think it's really interesting because it's a collaboration between Team Ninja, the folks who made the original games, and Platinum, the masters of combat action games. Platinum, who of course has had quite a few misses in recent years, but is also responsible for incredible things like Nier Automata, Bayonetta, Vanquish. I can go on and on. Now, Platinum has changed, right? The last couple of years, a lot of leadership shakeups. Hideki Kamiya is not there, so I'm still like really curious to see how much of that spark is still there. But I gotta say, with what they showed off here, and they showed a lot. They showed cutscenes, they showed gameplay. It was very transparent. I liked what I saw. I still have a lot of questions, of course, but this looks like a fun third-person character action adventure game. The combat looks very Platinum. It looks very flashy, very stylish, very over the top. The world looks incredibly cool and detailed, but there's actually a new main character. Yes, it seems like it's not centered around Ryu Hayabusa, which I think is pretty interesting. I didn't expect them to do that. I don't necessarily know if I want them to do that. Ninja Gaiden is finally back. I want to play as the man himself, right? And he is going to be playable, but it seems like a lot of the story is focused around this new character who is from a rival clan of the Hayabusa clan. And it seems like their paths are going to cross, they're going to clash, and probably ultimately team up to save the world or something like that. But yeah, this new character, to me, at first glance looks a little bit generic. Just at first glance, like he seems like that like sci-fi, like cyberpunk style, like anime protagonist I've seen quite a bit. That being said, they didn't show off a lot of him, right? They mostly focused on combat and traversal, and combat looks awesome. Like I said, it looks distinctly Platinum, but still very fast and zippy and aggressive like the Ninja Gaiden games were. And part of the reason why I think Ninja Gaiden is good for a return is because so many like modern action hack and slashy or action combat third person games have been influenced by From Software. It's undeniable. I'm not saying every game has become a Souls-like, but that influence has really just made waves over the course of a few years. But I mean, Ninja Gaiden is its own thing. It is tight, it is challenging, it is frenetic, but it felt very distinct, refined, and smooth, just as like equally chaotic. So I'm excited for that to be a thing, and I'm excited for Platinum to kind of get their hands on that. I think that's cool. I don't really go to these games for the story. I haven't, and like the story stuff I saw here seems like whatever, but like what I did like is, again, all the killing, all the murdering, the one-on-one boss battles, which I love the previous games for. Lots of wall running, lots of dashing, chopping off heads, like a kind of grappling hook maneuver, just a lot of maneuverability and a lot of ninjutsu style stuff that makes these games cool. So it's out this fall, apparently, according to them, and I hope they nail it. Ninja Gaiden, like I said, last games weren't as great, but the original Ninja Gaiden that initially launched on Xbox and then was everywhere with the incredible re-release update, Ninja Gaiden Black, is like my favorite. It's absolutely awesome. Ninja Gaiden 2 is also great. It was a lot more challenging, and then by 3, I kind of personally dropped off, but that original game was something. For like the visuals at the time, the combat, the challenge, the incredible boss battles, the marring of like styles with like sci-fi and fantasy and like old school Japanese ninja stuff. It just felt really unique. So I am excited that they also announced Ninja Gaiden Black 2. Now that's significant because, like I said, Ninja Gaiden, the original, the black version, was incredible. The amount of content it added, the updates and everything, it was just the best definitive version of that game. So essentially now they're doing that for the second game. And the second game is a lot of people's favorite. It's kind of like a remake, but it's an Unreal Engine 5. Hopefully it runs well. It does look absolutely gorgeous, and it just really ramps things up. And I mean, the fact that they also said it's just available right now is great. I think that's a win. I'm going to download that after recording this video in the middle of all the other games I'm currently reviewing. And most importantly, it's not just an Xbox thing, it's on all platforms. So yeah, that is my soapbox about Ninja Gaiden. It's good to talk about an old series coming back, but like in a way that I think is good and doesn't feel cynical, like it's a cash grab. I think a new Ninja Gaiden game can work and especially just feel different than a lot of the action slashy combat games out right now. Another big highlight from the Xbox event was the multi-platform Expedition 33. We got to see a lot more of this game, a lot more questions answered. And again, I like these kind of deep dives because I think it's just good for consumer transparency. We see more of the game. We know a little bit more of what we're going to buy into. And Expedition 33 had me excited from the beginning. When it was first announced, yes, but you may remember that I saw the game behind the scenes at Gamescom a couple of months back, and I came away like raving about it. I like to think I was one of the first people to be like, hey, this might be sick. And again, they could totally bungle it, but from what we've seen, for me, what it really, like why I respond to it is just, it's unique. Yes, it's heavily inspired by JRPGs, but like with a French twist. Absolutely really cool. But the fact that like it's not a sequel to anything, it feels completely fresh. It's focusing on, yeah, cool video gamey stuff like JRPG turn-based mechanics, some real-time stuff thrown in, and an overworld map, which is very cool to see. Kind of an old school thing, but with a modern twist. But also the fact that like they're focusing on storytelling, art direction, and music in a way that, like, from what I've seen of the game, especially what I saw behind the scenes, I was like, damn, this just feels like a good, fresh, new thing. Now, again, whether or not they nail it and whether or not it resonates with people, that remains to be seen. But just leading up to like what I've seen now, I've really dug the characters, the performances, everything they got going on, the writing. It just seems like they're really, really shooting for the stars here. It feels like a passion project. It feels new, and I really hope it amounts to something because the characters look cool. A lot of the music I've heard seems really incredible. Some of the bigger boss battles seem cool. The world design seems very, very interesting from an art direction standpoint, but like the characters themselves, the clothing, all that just feels like something I haven't seen in a minute. Which at this point, and I know a lot of you guys complain, like in a world of sequels and remakes and re-releases, you know, this is something. That's something you might be looking for, at least for me. I'll judge it for myself when I actually get my hands on it, though. I hope it lives up to my expectations, which I am, optimistic. It's releasing April 24th as of right now on all platforms. They also showed off South of Midnight. This is the newest game from Compulsion, and I'm still curious about this one. I like the art style. I like the world here. It looks unique, and to me, it still just kind of looks like it plays like kind of like an Infamous. I am just all in for an action adventure third-person game. To me, as of right now, it's like the graphics, the art direction, the voice acting, all that stuff is hitting for me. But I'm still looking for that hook. I don't know. From this, what I saw, like there's still not quite a gameplay hook that I'm like, oh, that's sick. We'll see though. Of course, I'm going to be giving it a shot. And like I said, like a third-person action adventure game with like superpowers. It's kind of up my alley, so I'm hoping for the best. That's releasing April 8th, and that seems to be like an Xbox PC only thing. But another multi-platform one they showed off that I have a lot of questions about is Doom: The Dark Ages. This does look awesome. It does look like another modern Doom game, kind of continuing the experimentation. I liked how they described it here, from Doom 2016 to Doom Eternal to now, where Doom 2016 was running and gunning, and Doom Eternal was a lot of like acrobatics and like a lot of shit added on. And then this one is focused around standing your ground and fighting and old school strafing, which that I like to see, that I like to hear. And from what we got to see, the melee weapons, the weapons themselves, the kind of parry, countering, all that type of stuff just seems absolutely awesome. It looks crunchy, weighty, gory, powerful in ways that I want. I like the power fantasy of these games, and I like just being the Doomslayer brutalizing shit. If I had to pick one between Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal in terms of like gameplay styles I prefer, it's definitely Doom 2016. I liked how clever the complications built onto Doom Eternal. But, you know, if I had a choice, I'd prefer the previous way. So this, just more focused on the violence and the killing and the being awesome. I'm in for that. They changed up the glory kills in a way that didn't really vibe with me. They said, hey, you have the freedom to do glory kills any way and any direction and whatever. And to me, it looks like they just took out the fun, over-the-top, you know, canned animations. Now, I think they did that, right, to free the player up so that the player doesn't get locked into a kill animation mid-combat. But on the flip side, this is the game where you're more tank-like. This is the game where you're not doing acrobatics through the air as much. So, like, why not let me still have those cool, fun animations where, like, I rip a demon's jaw apart? Now it just kind of looks like he goes pop and then they go flying away. That looks a little unsatisfying to me. But thankfully, it seems like they're making up for it with like the saw shield thing and how it just like you throw it and it sticks into dudes and like kills them. I don't know. For me though, the glory kills is not looking as satisfying as like the one red flag for me. The other thing that might turn some people off is like the exploration, which I don't know. I'm willing to give that a shot. I think that sounds kind of interesting. Do I need a Doom game with like exploration and like a like little hub area and going off to the side and finding an optional boss or loot? No, not at all. That is not what I want from Doom. But if they can make it fun and engaging, like constantly engaging, I'm willing to give that a shot. The other thing I'm curious to see how well it is. From what we heard here, it does sound good, but the music is not being composed by Mick Gordon this time around. Of course, there was that big famous falling out between him and the studio. It was not pretty, but I'm glad they're at least keeping the feel. I just hope that it can like live up to the work that Mick Gordon has done on the previous games. But generally, really, I like this kind of like fantastical fantasy world they're building in Doom. They're doing their own thing with it. At this point, to me, does it feel like old school Doom I loved playing as a kid? Not quite. You know, you're not like on a sci-fi base station killing demons. This is just like a heavy metal album cover. And I think that's cool that they've been running them with that since Doom 2016. And like, you know, with being in a mech now and flying around on a dragon, I don't know. It just looks like it's fun. Just good old fashioned video game fun. I just hope they really nail it in terms of combat feel and the evolution and everything like that. And the fact that they're like actually telling a story with like NPCs and cutscenes and characters talking, that's weird. I hope the Doom Slayer doesn't say too much because that would be weird. We'll see how that ends up. But as of right now, you know, pending any delays or anything with any of this stuff, it's slated for May 15th release on all platforms. So yeah, a couple of new things to look forward to in the year. Just wanted to chat through that with you guys. I also played about 4 hours of a preview version of Assassin's Creed Shadows. I didn't really enjoy it too much. I know there's a lot of positive sentiment out there from some critics and reviews and stuff, but for me, it's still definitely like a wait and see. But I definitely wanted to chat more about this stuff today. I found this more interesting. So let me know what you think about everything Xbox showed off and like, you know, of everything, what is the most exciting to you? Because, you know, most of the stuff is on all platforms. So are you curious about Doom or Ninja Gaiden or whatever? Let's talk. Of course, you can find me on Game Ranks Before You Buy videos and the Friday News Show and stuff like that. I'm on X or whatever it's called, Blue Sky, Instagram, Letterboxd, all those places if you do want to follow me and chat with me there. But for now, thank you for just listening to me talk about some games, stuff I found interesting. That's all I'm trying to put out here. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Subscribe because video games, pizza's on me.